Hey everybody, Julie Goen here. I'm not in my living room today. I'm actually on a field trip here to Prime Lending in Rochester, New York, and I'm sitting down next to my good friend and colleague, Tom Hart, who is the production manager here at Prime Lending, and he has a whole team around him to help support his business. And we're gonna talk today about mortgages, Mortgage 101, and specifically about what are the very first steps that buyers need to do to reach out to Tom and get pre-qualified and pre-approved for a mortgage. What does that first consultation look like? So I'm gonna pretend I'm a buyer. I'm gonna put my buyer hat on and I'm gonna pretend to call Tom, and he's gonna walk me through what he needs from me to get a pre-approval. Okay, hi Tom.
Hi.
Thanks for being here with me.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Okay, buyer hat's on.
Okay.
Okay, hi Tom, my name's Julie and I got your name from my realtor and I need to get pre-approved for a mortgage because I wanna start looking for houses. What do I need to do?
Well, first off, thank you so much for calling. I know you've got a ton of options out there, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to work with you. You've made a good choice in your realtor. Julie does a great job. Julie with Julie, sounds good. So basically, normally I'll ask you to tell you a little bit about yourself, or tell me a little bit about yourself. Mm-hmm. Where are you looking to buy? What do you think you would feel comfortable spending on a monthly basis? Mm-hmm. And then we normally get into, how much you feel comfortable bringing to closing, total out of pocket between the down payment, closing costs, property taxes. Normally there's a sticker shock there, especially in New York State. So tell me a little bit about what you're looking to do, those things.
Yeah, so I'm looking for my first house. I'm really open-minded to all different locations, but I really want to stick around the $1,500 a month price range. Okay. In terms of my mortgage payment. I want to make sure that we can afford this and that I have a little money extra set aside and to do some improvements if need be. So I don't want to overextend myself.
And we don't want you to overextend yourself either. I mean, at the end of the day, this is your first home. It's probably not going to be your last. So having some additional money on a monthly basis to set aside for that next home, for that maybe forever home, is just as important as getting into the first house. So let's make sure we keep you within the wheelhouse in which you're comfortable and not overextend yourself. Mm-hmm. Have you thought about how much you'd feel comfortable, bringing to closing?
Not really, because I have no idea how much that could even be.
Okay, so why don't we kind of get into the next step? So there's three main factors that determine, what you qualify for, how much you'll qualify for, and what you'll need for closing, things of that nature. So that'd be the income, the credit, and the assets. Okay. So do you have a few minutes now for me to take things over the phone, or would you prefer to do things online if you're in the middle of work? What's more convenient for you?
I can do it now. How long do you think this whole thing will take?
The questions I've got for you, maybe 10 at most 15 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I can do it now.
So at that point, I would gather your basic information. Like I said, the income, credit, and assets. From there, I typically would hang up with you and start to do a little bit of work. I want to look through what products, what programs, are there any down payment assistance options? Are there any credits we can give you that can help you with your cash to close? And then once I have those different options laid out, I call you back. Okay. I say, okay, well, Julie, so let's just assume that all happened, right? So, all right, Julie, so thank you again for your time earlier, and again for the opportunity to work together. Here's what I've come up with, right? So then we start to go over, based on what you're looking at, and based on what you told me you have in assets and what your parents might be giving you for a gift, you have the ability to bring this much money to closing, right? And we want to keep your payment within that $1,500 or lower range. So the more you put down, the lower your payment's going to be. So if this number is too high as far as for what you're bringing to closing, and we look at options to make that lower, then just keep in mind your payment's going to go up, right? So, and then if your comfort really is more so your overall debt and how much you're spending on a monthly basis, maybe you've got an extra $10,000 you don't need to put down, and maybe you can utilize that to pay off some credit card debt. So because $10,000 in a mortgage is only going to be about $64 or $65 a month, depending on what the interest rates are, what program you're in. So we start to explore those different options. After we put you into kind of an assumption program, if you will, I'll send you a pre-qualification letter that's outlining you're approved. I send it to you and I send it to your realtor. Just as important as you getting that letter, I give you a list of the documents I need from you. Now, we've got systems in place that can pull, in most cases, your income documents for you, your asset documents for you. We can sometimes do asset validation, to where as if we can verify your income is going into your bank account and not need your income documents. But I get you a catered list of what we're going to need. If you're self-employed, I'm typically a little bit more apprehensive to send any letter until I see at least your tax returns, because most people who are self-employed I'm not even self-employed. I couldn't tell you all the details of my ins and outs of my income, right?
Yeah.
So most people who are self-employed think about the gross earnings that they made, and not about the net, not about the after expense number that's at the bottom. So I would normally want to see the tax returns, go over the details to make sure that we're using the accurate income and qualifying you.
Okay.
Last thing we want is for you to go out and look at houses that you may not be able to, qualify for in your name only. I mean, we can always look at co-signers and things of that nature.
Okay. But
if you start looking at a house that's $200,000 and you fall in love with those houses, and then you realize you only qualify for $150,000, it's hard to go back from, this beautiful $200,000 versus $150,000. That $50,000 gap could mean the difference of a finished basement, new windows, new roof, new siding,
Sure.
who knows, updated kitchen.
Right.
So going from that dream house that you really wanted to buy to the 150 is really difficult. So we don't want to put you out there with an approval letter if you're not actually qualified.
Right.
So
yeah.
And everybody's a little bit different. Everyone gets a catered list, and we hope to have the documentation within a couple of days, but definitely before you make an offer.
Okay. So it sounds like to get started with you, it's a simple phone call. It's a bunch of questions. And then you're going to hang up and do some digging and verify all of my information that you need and get back to me. Is it kind of like within a day or?
Typically, it's within a few hours.
Okay.
It depends on the day. Obviously, if I'm in and out of closings, then I might involve somebody from my team to help out and get things in the system for you. And if we're working together directly, then in most cases I try to do it myself because I want to make sure I'm looking through it. But my team's more than capable of analyzing tax returns and things of that nature. So, if it's a rush, then we want to get it done within a couple of hours. If it's not as much of a rush, I'll tell you, I'll reach out to you later on today or sometime tomorrow. And then it's never more than a day.
Okay. Wow. Well, that seems to put my mind at ease a little bit, and you answered some of my questions about getting started. So if anyone has additional questions for me or for Tom, I'm going to put our information in the description of the video, and we're always available for questions. But I think that's it for now. Thanks so much, Tom.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.